I'm on the edge of my seat after that, Nick. I don't know what to tell you.
Thrilled. Absolutely on the edge of my seats. It's very immersive in that respect because
chained into
Chris
it.
Pratt stuck in a chair and so was I. Every time it showed the countdown clock, I was like, oh, we're getting closer to the end, surely, right?
We're so close. So close. Rebecca just turned the time up a little faster.
I am, at least if there's any silver lining to this movie, I would say that Rebecca Ferguson gets that bag and she just gets to zoom in and presumably maybe has her jammies on underneath because you don't see anything of her from the waist down. So like she could be sitting in her chair at home with the Zoom camera up, recording all her scenes.
There is not a chance she's doing this on Zoom.
I don't mean Zoom specifically, but like that sort of teleconferencing type situation where the director, like she doesn't need to be on set anywhere. Like she could be doing this from home is what I mean.
That's true. I mean, set did feel, I guess, okay, the one set, they had the one set, but then they actually like went other places too. So it's not like so singularly set that it felt, you know, trapped in that way.
That's true. Even though the whole experience felt like I was trapped. And what movie is this that we're talking about? If you didn't already know right now, it's Mercy, the new Chris Pratt venture, co-starring Rebecca Ferguson. This movie is directed by, let me pull up the name. This is going to be hard for me. Timur Bekmambetov. So sorry.
Okay.
And written by Marco Van Bell. And yeah, that's it. I'm looking at my notes and I'm realizing that some of the notes on here are like prep work for another movie we're reviewing this weekend. And I almost like incorrectly said the DP and composer. And I'm like, I was like, no way Danny Elfman did the music for this. Let me just caveat what this is. This is a new little thing that we're going to do on top of I Think You'll Hate This, which is called bonus features, where every once in a while, if there's like a movie that Tina and I have the opportunity to see early and we want to kind of get the videos out and the podcast out early and we don't want to necessarily wait for our weekly recording sessions, we're going to do these little one-off, quick and dirty 10 to 15 minute little videos and podcasts for you guys discussing the latest in movies. So our first edition here today is going to be the movie Mercy, like we already said. And this movie is basically about Chris Raven, played by Chris Pratt, who is some sort of like lead cop detective guy.
He's an LAPD cop.
He's an LAPD cop, pretty high up there, and he worked pretty closely with this new initiative that I guess presumably the country, if not just LA in its own microcosm.
I think it's just LA.
It might be just LA. Let's keep it that way.
What if we just really went into a surveillance state and said, that's it?
Yes, exactly. Let's just pray that it's only over there. But the Mercy program, which is basically creating AI as judge, jury, executioner. And Rebecca Ferguson plays Maddox, which is the sort of supreme sort of AI judge, jury, executioner presiding over his case. He wakes up to find himself chained to a chair in which he has only 90 minutes, an hour and 30 minutes to prove his innocence beyond a certain threshold to be able to prove his
92%.
innocence. 92%.
Which I got some problems with that.
We'll get into it.
We're saying 92% is reasonable doubt.
Reasonable doubt, I suppose so. But I mean, this is clearly they discovered along the way in the movie that there's some human error and AI error that can occur here. So it's not a foolproof system, Tina.
I mean, here's the thing. I don't even feel like this movie wanted to say AI was bad. I think they were like, I think we should give it another shot by the end of it.
Oh, that's like the moral of the story, you think? Because I kind of agree with you.
That's how I thought.
It wasn't necessarily like this is bad, like this is a cautionary tale, something like you might see in a Black Mirror episode or whatever. It just was kind of like, it could work, but this isn't the best example, but we should keep trying.
I don't know. It feels like coming off of 28 Years Later, Bone Temple, it's like a very similar thing of like, I don't really know what they want me to get out of this. Other than like maybe cops are good?
Question mark?
Which I don't feel good about. Like they're saying that like some cops are dirty, but some cops are good.
Which feels like a very
But
benign statement. It's not really like making a
right,
point. It's just saying like people are complicated and not everybody's a good guy, not everybody's a bad guy. And it's like, okay, sure.
right. And I was like, but nothing that you really presented me is that makes me feel good about. I'll be honest, nothing makes me feel good about Chris Pratt being a cop with his like actual really violent tendencies
Sure.
that were like thrown in there to make us think that, oh, maybe he did kill his wife. Like, I don't feel good that this man is
There's that
got a gun.
There's that whole extended sequence of him evading his arrest because he's drunk and he's like running around in a bar. That's maybe the most Looney Tunes scene of the movie until you get to the last 20 minutes where I feel like everything just kind of like heightened and all the rules were thrown out the window and they're like, let's just do it live and let's figure out how to solve this thing and new revelations come to light. I can't tell you how many times I just like guffawed in my seat.
Did you figure it out though?
No, not really. I usually don't try to like connect the dots and like puzzle solve. I just kind of let it sweep over. It's the same thing with like the Knives Out movies or really any murder mystery where like there's like some sort of like revelation that's supposed to be had. I'm usually pretty slow on the uptick on those things. And I'm like, but it didn't surprise me either. I was just like, okay. Yeah. And then they pull out the sort of backstory and like the connection with another character. And I'm like, what is happening? And then the movie does another at the very end too, with a character that's been through the movie the whole time. And you're like, oh, this person was in on it too. And it's just like,
I mean, to the people who are going to watch it, who want, like me, I'm one of the people who's like, I can figure this out. I want to figure this out. It's choreographed from the start. Like if you think about it, it's choreographed from the start. But what I will argue is that I think that the premise sucks because I do think that we're like a couple years out from this, but could be a cool escape room. I think in the hands of early Black Mirror, like early Charlie Brooker, I think it could be something quite interesting. Sure. And I think it probably draws similarities to the White Bear episode.
Yeah.
But I think in the way that it was presented here, where like Chris Pratt would just be like yelling, no, we got to get him back. Like about nothing. He's just like strapped to a chair, raving like a lunatic. It doesn't feel, I don't know. I didn't feel any stakes. I didn't feel any concern. I was like, I don't.
Well, you also didn't really care about this guy because like every possible thing that Rebecca Ferguson throws in front of him of like, well, maybe it was this, or maybe it was this. Maybe remember when you almost hit your wife here? Remember when you yelled at your daughter here? Remember how you've been hiding that you're drunk?
Took a knife and stabbed it into the cutting board in front of your wife and daughter? And I'm supposed to feel good about this?
Yeah, they wait until like the back half of the movie to like really like quote unquote redeem him and like give you something to root for because his daughter starts to get more involved in it. So there's a little bit of that sort of emotional stake there. But like, even still, you're like, he may not have done this, but like he like to your earlier point, he should not have a gun.
Men will literally get framed for murder on the mercy trial instead of going to therapy.
Yes. How did the 3D or IMAX feel for you? Because
I was both. I was 3D. Yeah. It was 3D IMAX. I will say, so when I saw Avatar 3, it was also in 3D, but not in IMAX. So this looked so much prettier to me than Avatar because we were in like an older screen for Avatar. Oh. So this, I mean, it looked good. It looked cool. I don't think I necessarily needed it to be in 3D. Did you get the weird Chris Pratt infomercial
at the beginning? Yes, I almost texted you before the movie started. I said, "What is happening?"
Why? Whose idea was it to have like an oh shucksy Chris Pratt bit before you're about to watch him be on trial for murder?
Whatever they concocted with that and whatever their intent was with presenting that in front of this, it clearly worked on my audience because I think most people leaving my theater like really enjoyed it. I heard a couple 2 rows down that was like, it really felt like you were in the trial. For whatever that's worth.
You know, it got people in the theater. Hey. What are you going to do?
And I was sitting up at the very back of my IMAX. I had my popcorn like Tom Cruise would want. And I was like, at least I'm going to get some popcorn out of this. Snuck in a drink. Had a
I
good
was
time.
raw dogging it. I didn't even bring my water bottle. I forgot my Girl Scout cookies at home. I was adrift and
I
alone.
can't imagine being dehydrated watching that movie.
Me and Chris Pratt, dehydrated. He at least a little drunk still, hopefully residually.
Yeah.
Me, no.
They were like, he's like, how can I not remember? Like, I didn't do this or whatever. It's like, well, maybe it was the fact that like you were like belligerently drunk earlier before we got you,
Right.
and then we also hit you in the head, and you might have like amnesia. Sorry. And it's like, yeah, that's not helping me. That doesn't put me in a good spot to handle this situation.
Right. I was fully waiting for them to be like, oh, the AI doctored the footage somehow.
Exactly, like
Because,
deep fakes and stuff. Yeah.
Exactly. Because I was like, how do you want me to kind of root for this guy who punches out a doorbell camera after his wife is like, please don't come in. I don't feel safe. And he's like, I'm going to go get the keys and I'm going to unlock the door and I'm going to come inside. And I'm like, surely this is fake. Because he was like, he doesn't remember
Yeah.
it. I was like, AI, deep fake, all this stuff. But it's like, no, that was just him on a Tuesday morning. The movie never came around to him being like, man, I should have stuck with AA.
Mhm.
I should, like, I see how the consequences of my actions have impacted the lives of the people
He
around
doesn't
me.
learn
He was
anything.
like, no, he was like, the passion was gone. So clearly I couldn't have killed her because it was a crime of passion.
That is a thing he says. When he said that, it almost felt like that should have been like a moment that like a line that sent shockwaves through the audience. But I was like, okay, what?
I was like, what?
The camera kind of like zooms in and he delivers it with such conviction, and I was like, I'm not buying it, mister.
So I couldn't have done it 'cause I hate this woman.
Because I just fell out of love with her. So like clearly, if it's a crime of passion, I wasn't really that into it. So
Innocent. So drop that innocent rating
and
way
then
down.
ticks down just 1%. He's like 1%.
But it's also comical
Yeah.
that he starts at what, 97.5%
Yeah, around that.
likelihood of guilt,
Yeah.
somewhere around there, and he only has to drop 5 percentage points,
Yeah.
5.5 percentage points, and it's just like, I don't know. Personally, I don't feel like 92% is reasonable doubt.
Agreed.
I would say like 60 is reasonable doubt. 55. I don't know. I feel like anything past the halfway point is, I guess maybe that's just doubt, and then you have to get, but I would say 70. 70 is reasonable doubt.
The message here, and like I have to kind of like circle back to this as we close, just because I knew going into this I wasn't going to particularly like it, because I think the subject matter is something that deeply troubles me as somebody that like thinks about the current state of the world and our government and surveillance states and AI this and deep fake and all that stuff freaks me out. And you mix that with law and order and justice and how we can sort of forfeit our rights as humans over to a program and AI, and the fact that world leaders around us and tech billionaires would absolutely sell us out for shit like that
100%
is scary. And so I was hoping potential, and you know, obviously if a movie or a show is made about something, it's already being worked on by people, and like things like 1984 and Brave New World and Fahrenheit 451, all these things successfully point towards dystopian futures that could be real, but they propose it in a way that is almost like a wake-up call, and is like sort of like, hey, this is a cautionary tale. If we aren't careful about these things, if we're not prudent about looking out for these types of things, this is the future that could await us. And for it to not necessarily have a stance one way or the other, and it's just kind of like, hey, you know, it's like, it could be good, it could be bad.
We all make mistakes.
You know what? And you know
It's
what?
like a Disney movie.
Yeah, I'll grow as Chris Pratt and you will grow as AI, and together we'll nail this thing. And I'm like, dude, we'll never nail this thing. Once it's here, we're done.
Right.
So it's like, I would rather us not do it. So I had an aversion going into this movie already, because I was like, I'm already against everything that this movie's probably like illustrating. But in terms of like the enjoyment of it, like it's fine when you compare it to things like, I don't know, Searching or Missing, all those like sort of desktops type things. It's like, I was never really into those. I think the only one of that ilk that I particularly enjoy is Host, which was that pandemic shot horror
Host
film.
is quite good.
Shot all on Zoom. Really, really enjoy that one. But all these other ones, like I for me, they just don't work. And honestly, while I was watching the movie, I started to get kind of nauseous with like the 3D and how it was moving. I was
and
like,
the shaky cam.
yeah, all the sort of police body cam footage and stuff. I was like, we got to chill out with this.
Yeah. I will say one thing to add to your like computer screen stuff, and then we can wrap it up. I don't think we're good at being short, but a good computer screen movie that I think is coming out this year is called Life Hack. I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
Something Hack. It played at South by Southwest last year, but it's like a bunch of kids who are like on Discord 24/7 and who are like interested in hacking and doing things like that. So it feels much more embedded into their everyday life.
Sure.
So I like that one. I think that's like the kind of shining star example for this type of movie. But I agree. I think that to like put a pin in all of it is just, it makes me more scared for how AI is going to come into our future. The fact that we are now getting movies that are sort of indifferent to AI, like don't see, like he's mad that he's stuck in the chair, more so that he's mad that this system that he has created has flaws and can he's mad that it's him.
Yes.
You know, it's like the leopards ate my face.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? That's
absolutely.
like age-old internet thing. And that I think is what makes me sad and scared for the future.
Absolutely. I co-sign everything that you said. I was thinking about it before we hopped on this. I was like, am I going to start this review in this video on my soapbox, screaming about AI and surveillance states and all that jazz? But we found our way there, obviously, naturally.
We found our way there.
And we both...
And ironic that Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die, you got a trailer for that right before.
Yeah.
And that is like, so I watched it yesterday and it is so strongly fuck AI.
Yes.
Like profoundly.
Yes.
In its statement. So it's just the irony of the two coming back to back is depressing.
Well, I look forward to that one, especially considering its stance on AI. And I also support Vince Gilligan and his POV on AI, where he's like, until somebody has a gun to my head, like I'm not using AI. Sorry, man.
Absolutely not.
To leave viewers on a final note here before we wrap, would it surprise you at all to know that the director of this produced last year's blockbuster streaming hit War of the Worlds starring Ice Cube?
You're lying to me.
I'm not. I am not. Now, I would rather watch War of the Worlds than this, because at least you get Ice Cube in that movie acting off all those screens and stuff. Because I think that this movie, Mercy, would be infinitely more fun to watch if you had somebody like Ice Cube, or hell, I was like, just put Jason Statham in there. It's totally against type.
Oh, yeah.
Like he'd be like, what's going on here?
You get the Jason Statham commercial too, so he's front of mind?
Yeah, I did actually. But I had that thought before I walked into the theater. I had it in my car. I was like, you know what? Like, I this feels like a Jason Statham movie, like A Working Man or like The Beekeeper, except it is not as action-packed and he isn't getting to punch and do all that stuff. But it's at least, I would at least be more intrigued. But when you put Chris Pratt out here, I'm just like, something about it feels off.
Okay, so last thing, because you bring up something feeling off. Why on earth was he barefoot?
That's true. I was like, what is this John McClane type stuff? He's sneaking out of the elevator at that one point. I was like, he's going to step on glass and it's going to be a whole thing.
No, he's just wanted to get that Wiki Feet score up.
I don't know what this is, and do we have time?
You don't know what Wiki
No,
Feet
what
is?
is Wiki Feet?
Oh, this is crazy. Okay. I thought Wiki Feet was just like a pop culture thing we all knew about. It's this website where people rate celebrities' feet and then upload pictures of their feet and then like talk about them. It's like a forum for feet of celebrities.
And you're shocked that I don't know this?
Yes.
Why?
I thought this was just like a common bit that people would refer to.
No, unless you're talking to Quentin Tarantino.
Like I'm updating. Yeah, it's me and Quentin Tarantino actually run the message board. I can't believe I'm gonna have to take a poll in our group chat after this and see who knows about Wiki Feet, because now I look nuts.
Yeah, and then we will follow up with the results of that poll on our socials and let the kind people know whether or not you're crazy or I'm crazy.
I'm hoping it's you. because that would have really been
It's
a
been
dipper on
me
my
a
evening.
lot recently on all of our social clips looking like the dumbass. So, like, it's nice to have it flipped the other way.